And the other super important thing that they explained about grief in this episode was that it's not linear. It's not going to be, okay, yesterday I was sad, but today I'm hopeful and I'm never going to feel sad again. No, it's not linear. There are going to be times where you're going to feel like you're taking a step back because you feel sad again or you feel angry again, and that's completely natural and it's a part of healing. And instead of trying to rationalize why you shouldn't be feeling this way anymore because it was so long ago, or rationalize that I thought I was over this and running from how you feel, it's better to just feel it. Feel how you feel, try and dissect it, figure out what it is you're actually feeling, and work through it. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So my last video was sharing the stories of both miscarriages that I've had. One was back in June of 2014. The second one was this past October in 2020. And that was actually one of the hardest videos I've ever had to make. Not because I was like super emotional while I was recording it, but it was just such a raw and transparent video. And it's something that still kind of hurts. So it wasn't easy to record and share, but I think it was important to share. I just think there's so much misinformation and mystery surrounding miscarriage that people really don't know what it is. So if they've never experienced it, but someone they loved has experienced it, they don't know enough about it to really comfort or empathize with them because they just think, oh, well, you're not pregnant anymore. They don't understand the pain and the emotions that go behind it. And then I hope that for couples and women who have gone through miscarriages that may not have other people around them who've experienced them, maybe watching my video will make them feel like they're not alone. But today's video is all about what happens after a loss. And for me and my husband, the loss was our child. But a loss is not limited to just a child. It could be the loss of anything that you loved. That loss could be a family member. It could be your marriage. It could be a dream. The list can go on and on. But the common theme is that something that you pictured remaining in your life has now died, and now you're grieving the loss. There have been 2 times in my life when I have experienced grief that I can recall. And each time it's taught me something different. It was my first therapist who explained to me where grief comes from, like where that emotion comes from and why we're experiencing it. I had just gotten separated from my ex-husband and I was really struggling emotionally. I was super depressed. I was barely eating. I was losing weight. I couldn't sleep. I was crying all the time. It was just really bad. I was like I was in such a deep, dark, foggy place and I just couldn't like see my way out of it. And then my therapist said something I'll never forget. He said, "You're grieving." And I was like, "What do you mean I'm grieving? No one died." And he was like, "Yes, there was a death. There was a death of a dream. The death of the dream that you would be married to this man, that you would start a family with him, that you guys would grow old together. You're realizing that that dream is never going to happen, and the dream died. That dream was dead now, and it was natural for me to grieve it." And then most recently, my husband and I losing the baby really kind of taught me about the stages of grief. I went through all of the stages pretty quickly, and I feel like I've been back and forth in and out of all of them more than once. I definitely started out with like shock, like I almost didn't believe that this was happening, and then it went into like this instant pain. I talked about this in my last video. I felt like a pain just kind of shot through my body that just ached when I heard the news that the baby had no heartbeat. And then that pain went to anger. I was so angry. And honestly, I was really angry at God, like, because I felt like you let this happen to me again, and you could have stopped this. Why would you do this to me again? And you told me to do all this stuff. God, you promised us a child. You allowed us to win an IVF grant. You told me to share our story. I've been obedient all the way up until this point, and then you let this happen. Like, how could you? That was pretty much how I felt, like angry. I was so mad I really couldn't even pray. I was just really, yeah, it was just a really angry place. Like my prayers were more yelling and just anger than anything else. But I'm realizing now how necessary that anger part of grieving is. Instead of pretending like I'm not mad, I was just honest. I was honest when I was talking to everyone. I was honest about where I was, how I felt. I didn't hold back from my husband, my family, God, anyone. I just told the truth. And it was an angry truth, but it was the truth. And when I tell y'all I did not hold back, sis did a little cussing. Just saying. And those first couple weeks, I cried so much that my eyes were permanently swollen. Like, it was just, I don't know if you've ever like cried that much, but it's swollen and it's like real sensitive to the touch, and it's just, yeah, and you feel kind of tired all the time because your eyes are just really heavy. So yeah, that was me. And then kind of miraculously, a few weeks later, maybe a month after the miscarriage, I kind of started to feel less heavy. I know that it was God's doing that helped bring me out of that fog, but at the same time, I also know it was the prayers and the support of all the people that were around us that were just loving on us, praying with us, for us, sending us things, and just checking on us. Just all those things that helped to bring me through in a moment where I honestly just didn't have the strength to do it myself. And I feel like I finally got to a place of peace and hope. Now, again, I do go back to those angry moments and those sad moments. It's not a linear thing. I'm definitely in a much more hopeful and positive space than I was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So because we were so open and transparent about what we were doing as far as our fertility and the fact that we got pregnant and lost the baby, and we were sharing all this online on Facebook, on Instagram, all that. Someone on Facebook that I'm not really that close to actually recommended that my husband and I watch a specific episode of the Black Love series. It's a docuseries, which I absolutely love. Honestly, if I could be a part of that show one day, that's like bucket list. And I don't even need to be one of the people being interviewed. I would like to be on the staff. Like, can I help with the production of this? Because yeah, if y'all hearing this, y'all ever see this, please, I want a job. I just love what that series is about and what it stands for. I think it's sharing super important stories of people that look like me, and I just love it. So the episode I'm referring to is called Stand By Me in season 4. It's with Karita and Felicia Bailey, and it's dealing with the loss of their newborn. It was a little hard to listen to them talk about losing their newborn at birth, especially a couple weeks after we just had a miscarriage. But y'all, this episode was so powerful, and if you get an opportunity to watch it, please do. I'm going to actually link it below. The most important thing I took away from watching it was a better understanding of what grief really is. Their explanation was honestly really profound. They explained how grief really is just love with no place to go. And y'all, that's the perfect way to explain how I felt losing our baby. And even back when I was going through my divorce and even dealing with infertility for 2.5 years, it just felt like I had all this love to give to this child that we've been praying for, or to my marriage that was no longer a thing. And it was nowhere for this love to go. Oh, and the other super important thing that they explained about grief in this episode was that it's not linear. It's not going to be, okay, yesterday I was sad, but today I'm hopeful and I'm never going to feel sad again. No, it's not linear. There are going to be times where you're going to feel like you're taking a step back because you feel sad again or you feel angry again, and that's completely natural, and it's a part of healing. And instead of trying to rationalize why you shouldn't be feeling this way anymore because it was so long ago, or rationalize that I thought I was over this and running from how you feel, it's better to just feel it. Feel how you feel, try and dissect it, figure out what it is you're actually feeling, and work through it. So honestly, while most days I do feel hopeful and positive, there are still days when I'm crying and upset. And instead of trying not to be sad or angry or frustrated, I decided that I was actually just going to feel how I feel. And I would rather just sit in it and try and understand it and try to maybe dissect it and even learn how to name it so I can talk my way through it, as opposed to trying to suppress it. The goal is not to suppress how you feel. The goal is to heal from it. Honestly, guys, I am just 3 months out of a miscarriage, and I am not 100% healed from that. And I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers about healing and grief, because I'm honestly still experiencing and learning all about it myself. But I have learned the first step. In order to heal from anything, you have to first acknowledge that there's a wound. I mean, think about it. What if you broke your leg, and instead of acknowledging the pain of your broken leg, you just limped around and pretended like nothing was wrong? You'd never get healed because you never go to a doctor. You would never get treated. Nothing would ever move forward in the healing process because you won't even admit that there's a problem. So I'm acknowledging that I am grieving and that there was a loss and it hurt. And after acknowledging it and realizing that I can't heal this on my own, I'm bringing it to the one who can heal it, God. Now that I'm doing this video, I think that this will probably be just part one. I know that dealing with grief and healing from it is something that is going to take time. And I don't think that 3 months after a miscarriage, I'm at a place where I can tell you what the end looks like. I'm still in the middle. I wanted to share this video because this is where I'm at right now. And I think there's power in sharing the journey along the way instead of just the finish line. So I'm hoping the little things that I've learned so far can be helpful to someone else. And I hope that something I have learned or that I said here today is useful to you as well. I told you guys earlier in the video that I do recommend watching that episode of the Black Love docuseries. I just think it's really awesome. And outside that, also finding maybe a therapist, counselor, a pastor, or maybe finding somebody who has been through this already that you know, and you can confide in them and they can remind you that you're not by yourself and that other people have been there too. But that is all I have for you guys today. I plan on doing more videos like this soon, so make sure you subscribe, and thank you for watching.